Hey, turn on the light behind the computer. Turn on the light in the where I'm sitting. Turn on the light strip. There we go. It's great to have a smart home, right? You tell whatever your smart assistant is called to turn on, turn off lights. What I have behind me here, behind the desk, is a Philips Hue light strip. And in order for me to turn that on or off with kind of my smart assistant home thingy, I kind of need to remember what assistant I have. Not super difficult, but then I need to know kind of what I called this light strip when I installed it. It's not as natural as you kind of wanted it to be. So my goal is to have my entire home just work for me. I come home, things are happening left and right, lights turn on, off. When the house senses that I'm tired, like the lights dim. And in order to kind of help this process along to create the smart home that I wanted, one thing is to automatically light these strips behind me automatically whenever I go sit in front of the computer. And I could do this, of course, off the shelf. I could buy a motion sensor from Philips. That will work right out of the box, but it's Sunday. I want to make something. You can make this happen with stuff you have lying around your house. Stuff that I have lying around my house. We will use a PIR sensor. They look like this and they detect motion. So the next thing you'll need is a Arduino, because I like Arduinos. You can do this with Raspberry Pi or whatever you want. I'll be using a Node MCU. It's a Wi-Fi compatible. I've explained this in other videos. A Wi-Fi compatible Arduino. And as I mentioned earlier, I have a Philips Hue system for the lights in my apartment, and with that setup comes a bridge. That bridge contains a web server and a service that is running a REST protocol, so you can communicate with the Philips Hue bridge and thereby control the lights in your apartment with a simple REST API. The plan is to connect one of these PIR sensors to the Node MCU. I'll install this underneath my desk, so whenever I sit down, this will pick up the motion from my legs. The Node MCU will then send a HTTP request to the Hue bridge saying that, hey, turn on the light strip behind me. And that's it. Perfect Sunday project. Okay, let's get started. If we run this now, we're gonna experience some weird stuff. So this PIR sensor is designed to run off of 5 volts. The problem here is that the Node MCU outputs 3.3 volts. So there is a way to mitigate this, and we'll do that by hacking, is a very strong word. And we'll do that by slightly modifying the sensor. Instead of feeding voltage through the VCC pin, we can bypass the voltage regulator that normally takes the 5 volts and outputs 3.3 volts. We'll solder on a wire onto the PCB that will run directly to the 3.3 volt pin output on the Node MCU. So we can now successfully identify a motion. Boop, motion detected. So the next thing we want to do is to, well, talk to the Philips Hue bridge. And I mean, that's a whole video in itself. I won't go into any details. I will post the whole source code on GitHub. You can find links to that in the description and you can download it yourself. And in the interest of making it look nice as you want to do, I went ahead and I printed this little housing for the sensor. So hopefully it will just fit super snug in there. Think I'll bend a couple of components in the... it's fine. There we go, nice. Ha! It seems to be working just fine. The next step is to just install this under, in, on, below my desk in a convenient way. Let's do that. Alright, it's time for a demo. Given that the lights are on a timer before they automatically turn off, they just turned off. Let's head on over there and see if it works. Alright, I'm kind of... Ooh! Look at that! That actually worked a little better than I expected it to, given the large angle of where the motion sensor can actually pick up motion. I can trigger this by just approaching the computer. I don't even have to sit down. I will try it out for a couple of days and see what I think. That's it. I don't have to be smart anymore to turn on the lights. Just step in the right direction. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. See you next time.